Hey guys, happy Memorial Day. So I just wanted to post this on Twitter very quickly. So I know everyone's freaking out because I just posted stuff about the socialism versus democracy, the two forms of government, and the fact that the socialists, knowing that they lost that debate clearly in the 20th century, just switched it up. It's very smart, and the Linskys and Soros did it and said, "Well, we'll just take a part that's easy to be in something that happens in democracy that can't happen in a socialist government, which is capitalism. We'll just take that little piece of democracy and we'll go after that. We'll say socialism versus capitalism." But it ignores all the other things that happen in a democracy, and it ignores the fact that, it's actually not a government. So capitalism isn't a government. And the fact that most people in a democracy are not capitalists. But the fact of the matter is that I was talking about the fact that no one on the right caught it. And the reason no one on the right caught it is because they're just inundated in this web that the left has created, because the left owns the media, Hollywood, Wall Street, and essentially, you have to understand they own the World Wide Web. They own all of the social networks. And I talked about how you have to disconnect, like how the reason I catch it is because I've disconnected. I've disconnected from everything. And of course, I do have a strong mind, but the people who are upset with themselves that they didn't catch it, they have strong minds as well. So I want to clarify this point, because now you're going through your day and you're like, well, I have to read the left. I'm saying you can't read the left. You can't engage with them. You're going into interviews and they're pointless interviews. You can't get on there like with the Huffington Post and sit there and argue with them. Let me be very clear, and I guess I want to just make this clear. As someone who knows people in those communities and knows how they work, I know that you feel like you need to read them in order to defend against them. But let me be very, 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 very clear about this. It's not just writers writing. Like, everything you read, in all the patterns that you read, all the colors they're using, all the headlines, the ways, the flows, the ebbs, everything, it gets to you more than you get to it. When you read an article, I am pretty freaking strong, and I know all the techniques. I know everything. I know all the things that they've done. Like, I know everything behind it. And even when I read it, like, it still gets in. Like, it's still, like, the hooks get into me. And it takes incredible effort to beat back its hold on me. It affects you more than you can defend it. And that's why you miss things. That's why you end up following. So yes, you can defend against it, but it will, you will get ahead 3, but they will get ahead 10, or 7. Like, in the game of chess, they will still advance. Like, you'll get ahead a little bit, but they will advance, which is why they have been advancing. Every year they advance. Even if we have the House and this, they still advance. They still advance in the culture wars. They still advance. As great as the arguments are, I was watching Thomas Sowell, who is like the sexiest man alive. Like, I was just like, if I didn't have a husband, like, oh my gosh, like, his mind, I was just like, all right. I almost, kicked my husband out of the room, and I was like, nope, he's mine now. Like, Thomas Sowell is mine. Sexiest man alive. I love Thomas Sowell. Like, so that's it. But if you watch his tapes, and I can't do it because it's Twitter or whatever, but someday I'll share it. But he is making the exact same arguments that, like, Ben Shapiro is making now, 50 years later, or 40 years later or whatever. 10 years after affirmative action happened, there was no proof that it had done anything. It was actually showing that, you know, blacks and Hispanics and everyone had actually made more advancement, had made more money before affirmative action went into place. And the same thing with women and with all of the social things they put into. We are talking across the board. And I was like, I am watching the exact same video. And I'm watching it from how many years ago? They just keep advancing. And I just wanted to, there's a reason they keep advancing. And part of that is because, you know, and they're advancing more than ever now. And part of that is because, now back then, still things were kept. But now, now we're actually losing freedoms. Like, people are going to jail and everything like that. You know, like, we did well. Like, we did elect, like, because the right arguments were made. Like, the right arguments were made. But now it's not. Those arguments are being made in order to change, like, fully socialist. Anyway, you guys know what I mean. But my point is that when you listen to their debates from back then, they were having that, like, on a debate stage on the side. It's not like that anymore. Now they have a fully World Wide Web and they own everything. And I'm telling you, I'm going to publish a video, but it talks about what it was like in Germany, and they have the exact same thing. They have nailed down what Germany had on the streets, the way Germans did their propaganda, the way they had it in every, if you go to the Museum of Tolerance, the way they had it in the windows, streets, and this and that. That is exactly what the left has going on in the entire world, in every country, like especially in America, because of our wealth. We have a phone, we have a computer, we have this, and you may be reading it and your values may make you defend against it, but they're still advancing in your mind because they're using other techniques that you don't know about. They're not just using arguments anymore. They're using things that you don't know about, that I can guarantee you, like, and you know that, you're seeing that. You're seeing that by not catching a simple thing like socialism versus democracy. It's not safe to read it. It's not because I'm just saying there are things beyond. There are things you don't know about beyond words, like beyond just a political argument. They are using a whole series of other things. So when you read it, they are getting into you more than you're getting to them. And then we lose the GOP. The GOP focuses on other things. They become ineffective. And I think, like Dinesh D'Souza didn't figure it out. He had to go to jail to figure out that the socialists were going after the entire democracy. He had to go to jail to figure that out, to get checked back into reality. You know what happens in jail? You get disconnected. You have no access to internet. Are you getting me here? It's just not safe. And one of the things that he says to do is, like, when they say what to read, who should I be listening to now? And he's like, read people that are dead. And I'm just like, oh gosh, like, I didn't think about that. But yeah, like, I do that all the time. Like, I mean, you know, like, if you ever go to the Abraham Lincoln Memorial and you read the words of Thomas Jefferson's words, like, eternal tyranny, like, against those who want to go after the mind of man, like, read the people who already fought these fights and learn from them and learn how they won. Why not learn from the people who went before? Reagan, like, all of his radio speeches, like, learn from those. Learn how to fight from them. Don't learn from people who are here now, who are reading the left every day, because the left is changing their minds. It's shaping their arguments. Read from the people who fought this before, and then you'll win. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you to all of our veterans. I know you guys get it. Talk to you later. Bye. Vote in your primaries and vote a new GOP. If it's a new president, we need a new GOP because it's time to get back democracy.